Hi there, this is David and welcome to our ranking of the characters in Final Fantasy VI. I've been a lifelong fan of the Final Fantasy series since getting the first game on the NES, and I still vividly remember getting this gem on Christmas morning when I was 12 years old. I've played through the game countless times since then, and I thought that it might be fun to rank all the characters that the game has to offer. Keep in mind that some characters might be better or worse if you're doing challenge or natural magic runs, but here, I'm ranking them based upon a normal vanilla run of what a first-time player might encounter. So, let's get started. Number 14, Amaro. The Yeti's probably going to be the last character that you get, as well as the one that you use the least. The big guy just really doesn't have anything going for him. He's completely uncontrollable and unable to equip any magicite, so he can't benefit from level up bonuses either. He's pretty much only good for one dungeon, the Tower of Fanatics, but by the time that I recruit him, I've already beaten the dreaded tower. Yeah, he's a strong tank, but that really doesn't cut the mustard in this game. Number 13, Setzer. I'm really not a fan of this guy. He doesn't excel in any area whatsoever, and his skills aren't anything to write home about either. It seems that every time that I use his slots, all I get is Lagomorph, and his coin toss is far too expensive to be practical. I do realize that there are ways to make him pretty useful, such as raiding Kefka's tower early to get the fixed dice, and spamming pause to rig the slots. However, remember, this list is for the first time and casual player who wouldn't have any clue about those tricks. Number 12, Cyan. As a kid, I really liked Cyan. He's your traditional knight, able to equip heavy armor and use samurai swords. However, I later realized that his magic is abysmal, and his sword tech skill just kinda leaves you hanging. Maybe if you built a party around him using Amaro, Gao, and Mog, you could justify waiting around forever for his stronger techs, but most of the time, he'll just drag you down. There is one point though where he rockets up at the top of the list. When he gets the Tempest that procs Wind Slash, Cyan is a force to be reckoned with, but otherwise, he's just an old, washed-up Mr. Thou. Number 11, Strago. As an archetype, I really like blue mages. Normally, they're built to be extremely tanky in addition to having very unique magic. However, this old coot doesn't really live up to the hype. I guess Square was still experimenting with the class because they've decided to make him be a very weak mage, only able to use rods in battle. Though, of the four main mages in the game, he does have the best ability. However, I do prefer Kimahri's and Kina's way of learning blue magic over Strago's let them slaughter you with the spell approach. Ultimately though, he's not really available for a lot of Esper time since he joined so late in both the World of Balance and the World of Ruin. It's kind of a shame. Number 10, Locke. From this point on, the list has become more of a race to the top, rather than who's at the bottom. From here on, I think that everyone is pretty much interchangeable and fantastic. I like the Sweet Treasure Hunter. He has personality, you've gotta give him that. He's consistently in your party throughout the World of Balance, but then is arguably the hardest to recruit in the World of Ruin. With average stats, he's a thief able to steal, and you can actually get some pretty nice items in the process. He's the perfect choice for the early game Genji glove. With that, along with Mug, he'll be able to attempt stealing twice, which is nice, but other than that, there's really nothing outstanding about him. He's the quintessential average party member. Number 9, Shadow. I wish that Shadow was more of a permanent character, maybe at least joining for the entirety of Sabin's scenario, rather than being optional and running away at the drop of a hat. I say this because he's such a blast to play. His elemental throwing schemes are powerful and unique, and I shouldn't have to tell you how broken it is to have access to Vanish so early in the game. The ninja's high evasion coupled with interceptor counters makes him a force to be reckoned with. I do remember though, on more than one occasion as a kid, pretty much having a panic attack and leaving the poor guy to die because he was just so late to show up on the floating continent. I guess child me was kind of an impatient ass. Number 8, Mog. As kind of the optional but not really optional character, the Moogle is extremely versatile. I know a lot of people don't like the uncontrollable characters, but Mog is different. His dances are easily enough to get him through the World of Balance, and once you reach the World of Ruin, as one of the 2 spear users, he is a solid pick for decimating bosses with the Dragoon boots and the jump command. Let's not forget that he can get you through some of the more annoying areas with ease, as he's the only character able to equip the Moogle charm, which turns off the random encounters. He's got everything going for him, along with gobs of HP, and he's a lot more than some throwaway mascot character. Number 7. Realm. In a game where magic reigns supreme, Realm should be at the top of this list, having by far the highest natural magic growth stat of all the characters. However, what brings her down in my book is simply her availability. Unless you want to spend forever grinding for magic spells like I did as a kid, she really doesn't have time to learn all that much, coming in extremely late in the World of Balance and then midway throughout the World of Ruin. Her sketch ability is arguably the worst in the entire game too, though later on Control is quite nice for disabling a monster, learning blue magic, or just using their own skills to slaughter their compatriots. Number 6. Terra. The supposed main character, Terra is a magic knight and only one of 2 party members who naturally learn magic. Her equipment draw is one of the best in the game, as she's able to use heavy armor as well as swords. The one thing holding her back from true greatness, I would say, is her leaving constantly in the World of Balance, combined with the limited usefulness of the Morph command. Yeah, it makes her more powerful for a few turns, but the meter runs down so quickly, you pretty much always have to save it for a boss fight. Therefore, it just doesn't have the versatility of the other techniques. Other than that, though, she's definitely a solid pick. Number 5. Celeste. Terra and Celeste are essentially 2 sides of the same coin. As natural magic users, they alternate places during the World of Balance. But then, while Terra mopes around and plays house during the World of Ruin, Celeste is out from day one as the de facto leader of the group, kicking ass and taking names. She's top-notch early in the game with an almost identical equipment draw to Terra, and she holds her own late game too. Her only drawback is the god-awful runic. While it sounds nice in theory and looks good on paper, it's complete dog shit in practice because you have to continually use it for it to be effective, and it can actually absorb the spells that you cast too. It's really down there with Sketch and Slots as the worst techniques in the game. Number 4. Gogo. I like Gogo a lot. Not only is a cool Final Fantasy V cameo, but you can make him whatever you want him to be. As a mimic, he's a jack of all trades, able to equip every single unique skill. Yeah, his stats do leave a lot to be desired, but that's a small price to pay to having a tool-using, blitzing, magical god on your hands. He's especially useful in those dungeons where you have to split up your team. Normally, I'd throw him in the loser party so we can shore up all their weaknesses and still get through unscathed. Yeah, he's a pain to get, and most first-time players won't even know that he exists, but he's great to have around if you do know about him. Number 3. Gao. I'm sure this placement is probably a shock to many of you, but Gao is actually really freaking good if you just give him a modicum of time and effort. I remember as a kid, I would spend some time in the Veld until I got the Templar Rage, which allowed him to cast fire too, and then with that I could pretty much wreck everything in the World of Balance. But then I never really used him in the World of Ruin because going through all those rages and finding something good just seemed so overwhelming. But now I know all you really need is something like Stray Cat or Chicken Lip, and Gao is a wrecking machine. Yeah, he becomes uncontrollable, but when you're clearing the screen so quickly and consistently for free, is it really that bad? Number 2. Sabin. Well, we're down to the final 2, and here we have the first of the Figaro brothers, Sabin, who's a muscled powerhouse. His blitzes reign supreme in versatility and damage. He has great stats across the board, and he joins early in both the World of Balance and the World of Ruin. What's not to like? Well, let me tell you right now why he didn't get number 1. Remember, this is my list and probably my problem, but I don't play fighting games, I don't really play Mario anymore, And I definitely don't play 3D Zeldas because I'm a crotchety old bitch who can't hit a button combination to save my life. Even as a kid, I would fail on the blitzes half the time, but now that I'm pushing 40, I can't imagine how terrible at them I would be. And finally, number 1, Edgar. Yeah, I'm sure this is a huge shock to you viewers since I already did feature him in the Most Overpowered Characters video, but Edgar just brings everything to the table. He joins up early and is able to single-handedly slaughter everything in his path with his tools, and then when those start to wane a bit, you can just put some earrings on him and use flash since that's magic-based. The key for me is that his tools are just so versatile and easy to use. Unlike with Sabin's blitzes, I am guaranteed to have Edgar's tools hit. His equipment draw is better than his brother's as well, being able to equip heavy armor, swords, and even spears if you want to make him into a dragoon. Edgar's just able to cover all your bases and look good doing it too. Well, that's it for the characters of Final Fantasy VI Ranked. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and how would you rank the characters? Do you agree or disagree? Let me know in the comments. And if you like this, please like, comment, and subscribe, and have a good day.